Welcome to our second hour of Smart Men's Business. Your daily kicksetter with me, Masika Tsime, and I'm joined with Andrew Barigi. Like I told you, we are going to be talking matters relating to interest rates and, of course, balancing inflation and growth in our country, Uganda, mostly in the last quarter of the year. And this is the last quarter, by the way, guys. October, November, December. Those last 3 months mark the end of the year. So how prepared are you to make sure that this year ends very well? Anyway, like yesterday, we were giving you some things you could do for yourself as a business person, as a person who holds an organization, the very things that you could do to make sure that you profit, even gain more profits, even for the coming year, 2024. If God willing, inshallah, like the Muslims say. Anyway, don't forget that we are proudly brought to you by Zabu. So if you want to invest in government bond securities, Zabu says, look no further, they got you. So whether you have a smartphone, whether you have a capability or button phone, like most of you call it, it doesn't matter. All you have to do, regardless, press those buttons and dial *292#. And for the prompts, that is the USSD code. So if you want to learn about the product, if you want to sell, buy, or go straight to the bonds, but investment, they tell you is lost 15,000 Ugandan shillings. But you can choose to invest more than that. You can choose to invest millions and billions of money with Zabo. But anyway, today being Tuesday, Zabo is operational from 8:15 a.m. That's a few minutes from now, 5 minutes from now. Just reach out to Zabo, and of course, till 3:15 p.m. Zabo says your money is your future, and they're powered by Alltech East Africa, telling you to do something new. It's the new month of October. Well, I know we are into a new week, and the weekend for some people has not yet shifted. Some people tend to be a little bit busy over the weekend, and of course, they start to be super on Tuesday, which is quite understandable because a lot of events happen in there and enjoyment takes place there. You know how it is. But anyway, let's get inspired for this beautiful morning of the 3rd of October, 2023, since we are all new into this month of this very year. Well, of course, as successful entrepreneurs know that the future is not predicted, but the best way to predict the future is indeed creating it. So you can choose to create, yes, right there. Successful entrepreneurs know that the best way to predict the future is created. Do you know, Andrew, that you are the one that determines your future? You can create your future.
Exactly, absolutely, very true. I believe in that. We have power over what we want to see, to manifest what we exactly want to see. We really have possess that power. We are not victims of circumstance. I mean, that you're just taken up by the event and you go by the event. I mean, we should be, as an entrepreneur, because that's why, like yesterday, we had something when we're looking at the forecast of 2023 for the last 3 months, seeing the anticipation of the reduction of exports due to the declining global demand, definitely found out that there are ways still that an exporter in Uganda, that like a business in Uganda can figure out and make their service of great use, and it will be demanded outside. That means it will be exported. So we need to always find out ways on how we can make things happen. I mean, that's what makes you an entrepreneur. You see a challenge, you look for a solution. So if you can provide a solution to the society, what makes you think you can provide a solution to your situation, to progress, you know? So that should be the mindset. If you have that, that's definitely.
And of course, talking,
you're good.
relating the very last one, being adaptable, looking at this last quarter of the year, and of course the different events that are going to transpire. I urge you guys to be adaptable. Go with what is trending. Okay? If people are doing discounts, go big on discounts as well. You know, go with the trend. Go with the trend, because I mean that is how people are positioning themselves to get their customers. So definitely be adaptable. Like they say, if life offers you lemons, make lemonade.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's how it's supposed to be. I mean,
that's how it's supposed to be.
You see, life making it through to any other state. It's all about your mindset. What are you thinking about this? You know, something is happening. What are you seeing? What eyes are you using to see?
Yeah, change is really inevitable. So you have to be ready to adapt.
Exactly.
Be like a chameleon. In every situation that comes, change into it. If restrictions are the maybe where you're working, they're more strict now, please do that as well.
Exactly.
Do that. So adapt to change, because change is indeed inevitable. Don't be like, oh my goodness, I don't think I can handle this. Oh my God, stop being a softie. You know, go bitter at times. Bitter is also good at times. Sweet bitter. Anyway, that is what we've managed to have for you today, and of course, Andrew Barigi, how is your morning? Actually, looking incredibly.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. It's just part of inspiration.
October really looks good on you.
I mean, and it's inspiration. It's what we call redefining.
Okay.
Redefining moment, and you know, in most cases, this comes with it's like a revelation. Let me say that.
Okay.
You know, about something, about identity, about who you really are. And I would urge actually every person out there, most especially for the business people, should have that. I mean, have the revelation of what you're doing. You don't do anything for the sake of doing it. Remember, you may do it without a revelation, but like it or not, it has repercussions.
Oh yeah. Anyway, Andrew, away from that, we were discussing matters, how we can balance inflation and growth, and of course the role of interest rates. And of course we read that the lower the interest rates are, the higher the inflation.
They have inflation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are going to look at ways on how people can survive with the high interest rates that are set in place. Now, people do not want to go and get loans because they're like, oh my goodness, the interest rates are so high. But how else do you expect the government to also subsidize these products?
Yeah, that's
the interest rates to the profits also they also get.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is interesting. And of course, we have quite a number of ways we're going to be showing you how businesses can thrive against high interest rates, most especially in Uganda. And of course, we shall also get to take a look at what other neighboring countries, what examples can we get from countries like Tanzania, how are small and intermediary enterprises operating amidst inflation rate that is happening at that moment. Remember, it always keeps on differing. And now, of course, there is this aspect of actually reducing the costs, reduce the costs of, the production. Now, of course, this could involve streamlining operations. There is some aspect I can see in the report here about negotiating better deals with the suppliers. You can think about that, or reducing staff costs. That is expenses that you spend on staff. But sometimes when you hear about staff costs, people think about laying off the workers, but it may not necessarily be that. It may be actually reducing on the benefits of the staff that they're experiencing at the moment. Now, a good point here we can point out of a real life, of a real case scenario. One Ugandan manufacturing company reduced its energy costs by 20% by switching to solar power. Of course, we shall not mention names in here for the sake of that. But they reduced, it reduced its energy cost, by 20% by switching to solar power. So, in other words,
that is one of the ways you could actually
operate amidst high interest rates.
Yeah, high interest rates. Because because now you have to remember that these companies, most of them, some are dependent on loans and whatever, all that. So for them paying up loans and the interest rates being high, so they have to make sure
they reduce the costs.
Yeah, in their company they reduce the costs. Yeah, and maybe if you've been getting allowance of 200,000, now you can go at 150.
Yeah.
Now that now that for them they switch to solar power, it could also be an advantage because it's just the sun. Yeah, solar is quite affordable in Uganda.
Yeah, so actually you can actually see here in our layout here, we can see some of the strategies amidst how businesses can operate with high interest rates in Uganda. And I can see something here to do with sales growth, and expanding into global markets propels revenue. That is a Ugandan coffee export achieved about 15% in sales in Europe and North America.
Yeah, the coffee thing yesterday what we talked about.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
Yeah.
Like we told you, we shall not be mentioning names of some of these companies, but at least we want to show you that there is a company out there that has actually used this strategy and it is surviving. So probably I understand. We are not on the same levels. Some people may not be able to export, but still, I feel there is still something which we can you can get from. We see we see something on the cash flow. Focus on cash flow. We see that careful cash flow management ensures liquidity, delayed supplier payments, and factoring services. Of course, keep businesses resilient. That is something you can really see. Businesses should carefully manage their cash flow to ensure that they have enough money to meet their expenses. And actually, this could involve delaying payments of suppliers. Now if you delay the payments of suppliers, what about the staff? Or using factoring services? Actually, we have a case in point here where one Ugandan retail company reduced its reliance on bank loans by using factoring services to convert its accounts receivable into cash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's how people are dodging loans.
Exactly. Regardless of how the situation really presents, just to digress a little bit, when you take a look at the nations that we love, because so many times, just like of recent, we've been having calamities hitting Africa, and it's not been usual, and of course, relating all this to climate change. But now, the nations that have been hit severe by these earthquakes, you get to realize that they have been a little bit innovative because they are faced with this challenge and they need to combat it. I'm just trying to say that a scenario can actually make you to think bigger. And once the most interesting thing, if you're a business person, as an entrepreneur, I've come to realize this over time, and you're able to be innovative in a very challenging situation. Once things get back to normal, trust me, you will have the best. For example, we had the meltdown in 2008, and majority of the companies closed, most especially in the Western world. But those that were able to make it through, once things stabilized, they became actually the leading market leaders when it comes to determining prices of different industries. And now we see something here about alternative financing. Of course, we see that there are a number of alternative financing options available to businesses, such as invoice financing, leasing, and crowdfunding. An example is one Ugandan startup used crowdfunding to raise about $100,000 to launch its new product. So these are quite avenues on how you can really run a business, despite the fact that you are operating in an environment of high interest rates.
Andrew, I just realized interest rates and inflation go hand in hand.
Yeah, actually, we shall be taking a look at that in our business insight. As we are going to relate both of them actually later. Yeah, we're going to relate to that. So the viewers are going to be really having that. And maybe we can take a look at what have other countries done. Well, I mean, success stories from neighboring nations when it comes to how the businesses operate in there. We see for Kenya, for example, the average interest rate on loans is around 14%. However, some businesses actually have been able to thrive despite this. An example is that we see the Kenyan coffee industry has been able to grow despite high interest rates by focusing on exports and using alternative financing options like invoice financing. Of course, we shall get, for the interest of time, we shall find it probably later on in the show. We shall define what is really invoice financing, just that for the sake of time here. Now, for Tanzania's case, the average interest rate on loans is around 12%. That is something you also need to know. And some businesses in Tanzania have been able to thrive despite high interest rates by focusing on cash flow management and using alternative financing. And we see something that one Tanzanian manufacturing company was able to reduce its reliance on bank loans by using leasing to finance its new equipment. So literally,
so they lease out the oh wow, that's a nice idea actually.
They pay it over time.
They lease it. Some people use it, then they can pay them.
Exactly.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
There is some aspect where you can actually, for example, you get a loan, and you're going to buy something, but the asset you're going to buy acts as collateral.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that could be actually be that could be a great idea for Ugandans that are struggling with,
Yeah, with the high interest rates.
Yeah, the high interest rates.
Yeah, it's just like we've been saying. It's more of it lies more of the mindset and all that. Yeah. Well, that is it for our discussion for this point in time. It's exactly 26 minutes past 8. And this is Smart Means Business, your daily kickstarter, where we bring to you first-hand facts relating to business. Now, of course, still to remind you that all these discussions on this show are proudly powered by Zabu, which is a platform from Altex, which has made your trading experience much more easy and friendly. Now, the markets on this platform, as I speak right now, they have already opened. They opened about a few minutes back. Yeah, that's at 8:15, and they'll be running up to 3:15 p.m. East African time. This is effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays when these markets are not in access. But of course, despite that, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make money. Something which I believe personally, it's very important when it comes to your financial growth and development. So Zabu made this a reality for you, and regardless of where you're located, you could be in the east, south, west, and also regardless of whether you have a button phone or a smartphone, as long as you put in those codes, you'll be led to actually those particular opportunities. And that's why Zap comes out and tells you that it's my money, it's my future. And Altex East Africa tells you that you need to do something new for yourself. Remember, it is 2023. Well, now we'll take a break, and coming up is business, entertainment, and sports. Stick around.